Hi everyone, we're going to be working with decals today, and I have two types to show you. This is a commercially prepared ceramic decal. These are water slide decals, and they're meant to go up to about 1850 degrees, which is cone 6. And these are ones that I printed off my printer at home. It's a Hewlett-Packard printer. It has a high percentage of red iron oxide in the toner, and when you fire this, the what's going to be left behind is a sepia tone image. Will not be as black as this, but it'll be just, it'll still be very nice. So these, when you shop for these, you're going to find a few distributors online, and I'll give you some links to some. A lot of them are very large. People are putting them on ceramic canisters and large bowls and things like that. So you really have to find the minis. And I would limit myself to things that are about 1/2 of an inch. And that looks like what that is. So, beware of, the sizes that you're looking at. The other thing is that if you did have a large image, maybe what you could do is you could use a hole punch, one of those round hole punches that, make larger round discs. And you could just get a part of the image that would be, that would go on your disc. So there are some other options. The important thing with both of these is that after they're applied, that you don't overfire them. That's very important. The red iron oxide will really burn out, but these will also become diffuse. The pattern will become less sharp. The method for applying these is, we're going to cut around the image as close as we can. Then we're going to dip it, let it sit in some lukewarm water, and the paper will curl up and then it will relax, and then we will be able to just slide that right off the paper backing onto our piece. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I've done is I have this 8-petal flower, but I want to dimple it a little bit just to add texture. Oops, sorry. You come at this is called an automatic center punch, and you can get the kind that you have to hammer, just hit the end with a hammer. You can use a nail or an awl. And you've noticed that what's happening by punching all of these little dimples on here, the piece is starting to curve up. But you could also decide that maybe you like the backside better. So it's really up to you at that point. All right, so we're going to enamel this, and we're going to let this cool, and we're going to enamel a bead next. All right, so let's go ahead and enamel this. Just dangling it in the flame. Tap on the edge. These copper pieces can take a lot of heat. Now, I might decide to just go ahead, well, let's do one more coat. I'm kind of liking the back side of this a little bit because you can still see the dimples. So I'm going to fire it from this side so that the back side will clear up a little bit. To remember that the area where we direct the flame a lot of times can become dark. So I've switched it. I'm going to keep this as my front, and this is going to be my back. Although they're both looking pretty nice now. Alright, so we're just going to let that cool, and I'm going to enamel a copper bead in horizon blue. I'm going to crack off this enamel off of the mandrel. A lot of times, you know, the enamel will settle in the container, so you can stir it up a little bit to make it lofty so it's easier to dip your piece in. Now this is the one that we're going to put the little blue flowers on, but I want to add some of these Millefiori wafers to this. Do that. Now these have a top and a bottom, so you have to make sure that they're sitting top side up, or not laying on its side, really is what it is. It's that's where you'll lose the pattern, and all you'll get are stripes if you have the side facing up. So let's just get that stuck on there. Don't want it to go exactly around the circumference of the bead, so I've made this one a little bit lower. We also want to be careful about how fast we spin the bead, because we don't want to lose the flower design. You know, we don't want that to kind of shift and spiral as we're enameling the bead. So now what I'm going to do here is I am going to keep this on the mandrel. Pardon me. Let's keep this on the mandrel. It's going to make it a lot easier to decorate that. Okay, this guy's done. I really like this side better. So let's do this. Let's just go ahead. And we're just going to put this in the water. Go. You know, we're like watching grass grow again. We can take a look at this and see how that worked. Actually, what we can do is we can start cutting around this edge. So just generally, you know, cut out as close as you can to the edge of the pattern. Put that going in there. So let's see how this guy's doing. See if we can slide. Ooh, yes we can. We can slide it right off. Okay, so we're going to see. I hope that this shows up, because now that I'm looking at, oh, first of all, let's get our letters going in the right direction, because there's the hole. You know, I think I'm worried because this, these details are like a sepia tone in these flowers, so I'm wondering if I should do this side, but I really do like this side. Well, you know what? You can make it a double-sided pendant. Let's do this. Let's put this on this side, and then the other side already has a really nice pattern to it, so you could just flip this around and wear it however you wanted. Okay, here we go. That's pretty lined up. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is you're going to blot this just a little bit. There you go. You're going to be careful when we fire it, because normally the directions would tell you to wait a couple hours, but you know we're not going to do that. I hate to wait. I mean, geez. These are a little more resistant. Of course, the water could have cooled by now. Ah, there comes one. Let's see. That's still pretty hot. Oh, yeah, okay. So let's just slide this guy off of here. Okay. There. you have to be careful when you're trying to go around a round object like a bead like this, because it gets hard to try to get the decal to match the contour of the bead. So make sure that what you're doing is going to be on the small side. This guy's a little bit tough. Let me try this and see what we're doing. Okay, this is going to work. Come on. There we go. I feel like a surgical nurse or something like that. My little tweezers. Okay, so that's coming along, and so we've got one more here. Gosh, my fingers feel so big when I couldn't touch these little guys. Never think of my hands as being particularly big until you're trying to get in tight spaces like this. Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's try not to spill the water. Okay, let's do something, maybe like something around like this. Actually, I'm thinking maybe we'll go up here. Okay. All right. So let's blot this. Let's do this while we're waiting for these guys to dry. Let's enamel the heart. All right. So let's put that guy there. We've got blooms sitting right over here. And we're going to go ahead and enamel this heart. Except I forgot to put a hole in it, so let's go ahead and take a break while I do that. I'm back. So what we have here is this funky heart, and I just did the dimpling around the edge to add more interest. And before I go any further, let me just tell you that the color that we used on this bead is 1515, which is horizon blue. And on bloom, it's nut is the color, and it's 1125. And for the heart, we're going to be using cream, which is 1208. And we're going to be putting this eye, come on. Going to be putting, jeez. Going to be putting the eye on here. All right. So let me just enamel this quickly, and this will be cooling while we fire the other thing. Dangling it in the flame. Takes quite a bit of heat to get the enamel diffused to copper. Now, one thing that's important for you to know is that your base coat of enamel, first layer, is the most important layer in enameling, because that's where it bonds to the metal. So you want to get that nice and hot. You want to make sure that that really fuses with the metal. So I'm just basically kind of moving this around in the flame. Okay, so that's got adequate coverage. Just kind of twisting this down. This technique, when you take it off from the back side of the mandrel, really leaves a nicer hole for the pendants. Let me turn this down. All right, so now what we're going to do is I need to get my clear for silver, which is going to be the top coat. This is going to seal the decal so that there's no way that they're gonna be able to be rubbed off. They're gonna be under a coat of glass. So we're gonna gently warm this up. Oops, got some water coming out. This is gonna be interesting. Keep it back here. Okay, we can see the the decals are starting to darken. Do you see? That binder is starting to burn off. That's what we're seeing. That's that glue that kind of holds everything together. Now, normally we wouldn't want to direct the flame to a decal, but you can't help it when you're enameling a bead. So the minute I think that enamel is going to stick to this, when I go to sift on this clear coat, I want to stop. Okay, I need to get a slight glow on the bead, but I don't want it to get so hot that it melts or it burns out my decal. So, actually, I wish I were more ambidextrous. All right, so we're starting to get a glow. Let me heat it back up a little bit. I am really klutzy with my left hand. So we're just going to we're just going to fire this until it gets shiny. Okay, I can see that it's starting to melt in. Oh, that looks good. There's no rough edges there. Let that guy sit over there. All right, so let's attack bloom here. Okay, now we can face the, just want to make sure that by touching it I didn't shift that. Now we can face the decal away from the flame. So just gently warm this up. Now this word bloom is I just typed a page of words on my Word document, made a Word document, and then just took my laser paper, laser ceramic decal paper, and I ran that off on my HP. I think it's a 9110, but I'll give you those details. Okay, so we've got enough. Yeah, that's stuck on there nicely. Okay, it was plenty hot. sear off the threads, the glass threads. All right, so here's this little guy right here. You can just drop that back in the water. The water has gotten a little bit cool, so it might take a little bit longer for this to transfer onto the heart. Just leave that in there for a second. In the meantime, we can take a look. That's going to be hot. Oops, and that's hot too. David, can you get the picture of those? And then let's take a look at this. So you have the decal with Millefiori wafers. Doesn't want to turn. So you could make it simpler than that. I mean, you wouldn't have to add these Millefiori wafers on there. So that's sweet. See if we can get this guy off. Oh yeah, okay. Starting to come off. Okay, and all I'm going to do now is just blot that. Let's go ahead and fire it. Okay, so here's a good example. This did not really cover the entire eye. I don't know if you can see that. It covered more of the bottom part, but we want to get that covered so that we can protect the decal and there'll be no chance that it rubs off. So let's just get it a little bit hotter. There we go, good. Just going to fire this until the enamel gets shiny. Looking good. Sear off the enamel threads off the front. Okay, so we've got some nice pieces here and they're ready for your jewelry. Take a look. Do we have yet? Here's the bead. That was pretty quick and easy. Thanks a lot. Okay, before I go, I felt like I needed to tell you a little bit more about the decals. Here are some other examples. Now, this is a black and white image, but it fires sepia tone. But this is also right up here is one of these commercial decals with the color. So you can add things like that. It just doesn't have to be either or. This is the face. Now this hasn't been fired yet. You can see it's darker. It's, it's just one of those things. It's a fact of life. Here, do you remember when I was telling you about overfiring and the pattern or the image can become diffuse? This is what's happened here, although I have to tell you I like it. I mean, you can still see it's a flower. It's floral. So let me just show you some of these other things. You can create your Word document. The words that I sent to you all were just, I've just cut them off of this page. some more, some more words. These are how the decal sheets come from your commercial supplier. And you can see they're just, there's that binder holding them together. And when you order your sheets, now I wanted to show you something else that's here. Now this was a page that was an all-over pattern on one page. And so I used just my round hole cutter and punched this out. Now this will fit perfectly over something like this. All right, so I could layer colors under here. I mean, I could probably, the background, you're going to be able to see through this. What appears to be white to us right now, or the back of the paper, is going to be clear. So you could have something that had a lot of pattern on it. You could put this over it. Oh, there's our little. So I don't know. You just have to experiment. The eyes that I sent you, that's from a 1934 Montgomery Ward catalog, advertising mascara. You can scan the images into your computer. There are also some Etsy sellers that will sell pages. That's what these are here. These are images. It's Art Doll. And I can give you her link if you'd like. These are some of the things that I had scanned from the Montgomery Ward catalog. These dress forms and the different, you have to be careful that you don't get too small. You want it to be readable. So we'll have to, I don't know, I'm going to reserve judgment on that, how that's going to work out. So I think that's really it about the decals. The ones that you buy that you're going to make at home with your own printer, they give you the directions. They recommend the types of printers that you need. It says your printer should be a Hewlett-Packard or any printer that contains iron oxide in the ink. The newer ones don't contain as much iron oxide. 35% iron oxide is really a good amount for you to do this. And it'll tell you everything that you need. Basically, just what I've showed you here today. So it will give you that in writing. So this is what the page looks like, and you just put it through your printer. Get a better one. It's going to be. It has a protective. I don't know if you can see this or not. There you go. Protective piece of paper, and you'll just run this through your printer. Be careful because these decals can rub off. I found that out the hard way. So that's it on decals. Bye-bye.